in what way you see Pulp Fiction as changing the nature of your career.
I'd just say, I mean, it changed cinema.
And the Oscar goes to Quentin Tarantino, Roger Avary for Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction, which won the top prize at Cannes this year, is the second film written and directed by Tarantino, a self-described movie geek who spent 5 years working at a video rental store. Pulp Fiction opened the New York Film Festival in September. It stars John Travolta.
Oh man, I shot Marvin in the face.
Samuel Jackson.
Royale with you.
Uma Thurman.
Marcella said you just got back from Amsterdam.
Bruce Willis.
I know, unbelievable.
And Harvey Keitel.
If my help's not appreciated, lots of luck, gentlemen.
It's a crime film. It takes place in this, like, the underbelly of Hollywood, and not Hollywood movie-making Hollywood, the town Hollywood. And it's 3 separate crime stories, but the same characters float in and out of all 3 stories. So by the end of the film, you don't so much feel like you've seen 3 separate stories, you feel like you've seen one film about a community of characters. But, you know, it's very funny.
It was probably one of the most fun films I've ever gotten to do.
Audiences laugh their butt offs whenever I've seen it, so, I mean, this movie is definitely a comedy.
English, do you speak it? Yes.
However, at the same time, there are scenes in it that aren't funny. There are scenes in there to be taken seriously. Actually, I like that in comedies. All right, I always like it when a comedy, is not just joke, but actually takes itself seriously.
And how long do you intend to walk the earth?
Till God puts me where he wants me to be.
And what if you don't do that?
If it takes forever, then I'll walk forever.
Well, the idea in Pulp Fiction was the idea of taking the pulp genre. And so I thought the idea that would be kind of cool is to take 3 separate stories and make them be the oldest stories in the book. Vincent's character, the hoodlum, has to go out with the boss's lady, but don't touch her. And there's a whole history of people who have touched her and what happened. Well, we've seen that before, a zillion times. In the case of the Bruce Willis story, that's the boxer's supposed to throw the fight and he doesn't, and now the mob's after him. We've seen that story a million times before. And one of the things I thought about, like the 3rd story, was basically kind of the beginning of, at the time, of almost every Joel Silver movie, which would start off with like a couple of hitmen showing up, boom, boom. All right, you want to witness something, witness this. And they shoot the guy. And so I thought, well, what happens if we hung out with them all night long? All night long, all day long, all right, after they've killed the guy? What happens to the rest of their day? And so it was the idea of taking these chestnuts and putting them together and then actually having the characters kind of intertwine, and it all kind of takes place in one city, and it's an environment that they all live in, and the characters kind of know each other, but you don't know that for a while, and it was just kind of hanging out with them for those 2 days.
It was just so well written and so well told, just in a story sense. It's a really well told story, and his execution of the telling of that story, lived up to it.
If my answers frighten you, Vincent, then you should cease asking scary questions.
It's not that the whole movie isn't about redemption, but redemption does keep working itself into the movie. Most of the characters in the movie are given choices to make, and they make the choices that they make, and they pay the price or the consequences, or they live to tell the tale because of those choices. And we actually see it happen all 3 different times in the movie. If you just look at the case of John Travolta and Sam Jackson, it would suggest, well, okay, Sam Jackson made the good choice, made the right choice.
You serious? You really thinking about quitting?
The life?
Yeah.
Most definitely.
And thus he prospers, and John Travolta pays no attention to it, and thus we know he dies. But you have to think about Bruce Willis's choice that happens in this movie, because he actually makes 2 choices. One, he makes a choice to do a very unhonorable thing. He actually makes the deal with Marcellus Wallace to throw the fight. He doesn't have to. Marcellus doesn't say, throw the fight or you're dead. He makes it for money, and he takes the money and he screws Marcellus with it. But he actually ends up living to tell the tale. Right? Because he actually does make a moral choice later when he goes back to save Marcellus. But he's still starting from a very bad place, and he actually ends up prospering, for it. But again, he does make a moral choice that he doesn't have to. But right now, he's not looking over his shoulder because he did the moral thing. He actually got away with it.
In this, we pretty much stuck to the script. Quentin writes anyway in this very idiosyncratic, naturalistic form.
This ability that he has to create dialogue that almost nobody who saw the movie has ever heard before, and yet it feels so entirely authentic.
What do they call a Whopper?
I don't know, I didn't go on a Burger King.
Well, to me, I actually think one of my strengths is my storytelling. Because I actually am committing to telling a story. A good majority of movies that come out, all right, you pretty much know everything you're going to see in the movie by the first 10 or 20 minutes. Now, that's not a story. A story is something that constantly unfolds. I'm not talking about like this quick left turn or a quick right turn or a big surprise. I'm talking about it unfolds.
Quentin Tarantino's ability to cut gore and violence with humor, that makes it so funny. I mean, that's an innate ability he has, you know. And I think all the actors he chose are actors that look first for humor in characters.
I think it's a twofold reason. One, I mean, they just really responded to the characters. I mean, you know, they liked the script. Two, they could see from Reservoir Dogs that I'm an actor-oriented director. I care about performance. So, like, one, they get an example to play parts that they want to play, and they get somebody who understands a little bit about acting. I'm the one who buys it. I know how good it is.
People come of age and their parents let them watch it for the first time. And it's still like, oh, it's the coolest shit they've ever seen in their lives.
What country you from? What ain't no country I ever heard of? They speak English and what?
I like watching a movie and having, the experience of having seen a movie. And the one thing you can say about my movies, because some people like it, some people like them, and some people don't. But even people who don't like my movies, when they've seen them, they know they've seen something. You know, they watched the movie. You know, they might not like it, which is their choice, but, you know, they definitely saw something.
I'm curious in what way you see Pulp Fiction as changing the nature of your career.
Okay, I'll just say, I mean, it changed cinema.
It's a special movie, and it changed filmmaking and inspired a lot of people.
It symbolized to me, like, the world was changing, like everything was changing. It was so wild and so crazy. It was unlike anything I'd ever seen before. All the different timelines, how you interwove everything together, but the violence and the chaos and the humor.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
The real test of time isn't the Friday that it opens, or the way it's how the film is thought of 30 years from now. All right, and that's what I'm going for.